All right, let's see how we sounded. Let's see how we sound. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're about to get started in a second, y'all. Just fixing the audio. Just fixing the audio. You already know the drill. Test, test, test. All right, let me see if I need to fix it before we get started on TikTok. All right, we're sounding good. We're sounding good. All right, so let me go ahead and get TikTok started, y'all. If y'all in this live, you're watching the replay. We're live right now, but if y'all watching the replay, you'll know if we're watching the replay. All right, we're gonna get started in a little bit, y'all. Just gotta get the TikTok set up. If y'all was in the live earlier today, a lot of setups when it's projected. I'm gonna get the TikTok live started. So when y'all watch the replay, just fast forward like 5 minutes or so. Alright, cool. And if I'm too far from the mic on the YouTube live, let me know. But we're about to get started in a second, y'all. We're about to get started in a second. If y'all are on YouTube, let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding because we're about to get started. So if we're not sounding good audio-wise, let me know now so I can fix it. We're about to go ahead and get into this breakdown. We're about to go ahead and get into this. So if y'all wasn't live this morning, if y'all wasn't, make sure to watch this morning's live. A few charts ended up going as projected. US 30 did the initial drop from the trade we took this morning. Then it did a retest and then pre-New York ended up dumping. Gold did a small move this morning as well, but it kind of hasn't really done nothing too crazy today. And that's pretty much it. GJ and GU didn't do a damn thing today. So it was only US 30 and gold setups. So we're about to break all this stuff down, y'all. We're about to break all this stuff down. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. So a few of y'all have been asking me about what it looks like when a reversal does take place, because usually when we do these sessions, always continuations and avoiding fake outs. But let me show you what it looks like when the trend does change. All right, and And on TikTok, let me know how we sounding as well. So if you watch any of my trade breakdowns on YouTube, what is the very first thing I always talk about, y'all? What is the very first thing I always talk about? How we got to identify the trend in the title we are in. All right, now fortunately for us, there's only 3 cycles prices ever going to be in. All the patterns and candlesticks people talk about online are within these 3 cycles. We got the uptrend, we got the downtrend, and we have consolidation. All right, before you take a setup, you always need to know which one of these 3 cycles we're in. All right, so we're going to start off with a simple example, and then we're going to go into breaking down US 30 and possibly some more charts. So when we look at GBP JPY right here, all right, we gotta block someone. We just started, we already gotta block somebody. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. All right, let's keep it pushing. So when we look at price right here, what do we see? Right, which one of these 3 cycles do we see right here? Uptrend, downtrend, or consolidation? Which one of these 3 cycles do we see right here? What's going on, Kofi? We see a downtrend, right? Now, why do we see a downtrend right here? It's not because we see this juicy drop to the downside. It's not because quote-unquote mythical sellers took over. The reason why we see a downtrend is because what? Let me know in the chat, and this is on YouTube and TikTok, let me know in the chat, what does the downtrend consist of? Let me know what the downtrend consists of, y'all. And we're just getting started, y'all. We're going to be breaking out a couple charts. If y'all was in the live earlier today, US 30 YM ended up doing exactly what we was looking for in the live stream. And then it also repeated the move going into New York session. But today was kind of a slow day. So this is why I like to trade London session as well. That way, if New York session is slow as hell, you know, we still was able to make some money for the day. Right? So let me know in the chat, what does the downtrend consist of? Let me know, y'all. Let me know. We're just getting started, but don't be shy. Let's tap that screen. Let's participate in the class. What does the downtrend consist of? Lower highs, lower lows. Exactly, right? So we're not in a downtrend because we see this juicy drop to the downside. We're in a downtrend because the downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows. And when we look at price right here, that's exactly what we see, right? We see lower highs and we see lower lows, right? Trading is about going for high probability, high quality setups. It's not about catching every pip, every candlestick. It's not about, you know, catching every move. It's simply about going for high probability, high quality setups. And for reference, this is going into March. So this is February 17th, February 18th, all right? So if we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger, y'all? To move to the upside or move to the downside? Let me know in the chat. Put US for upside, DS for downside. If we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger, y'all? To move to the upside or move to the downside? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And if y'all have any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. US for upside, DS for downside. What we got, y'all? Know we're just getting started, but don't be shy. It's a participation class. Nobody's gonna roast to make fun of y'all. Everybody's in here to learn. All right. Thank you, Eloy. I appreciate it. Everybody say thank you to Eloy in the chat. All right, because we would have just been staring at the screen. So everybody say thank you. All right, the move to the downside. All right. So if the move to the downside is bigger than the move to the upside, and we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what would be the high probability, high quality setup? It would be sells, right? Just like if we're in an uptrend, trending upwards, what would be the high probability, high quality setup? It would be buys, right? So if that's the case, no matter what, as long as we're in a downtrend, we're only going to look for sells. And like we just talked about in the chat above, what does the downtrend consist of, right? Just like what Kofi said above, what does the downtrend consist of? Lower highs and lower lows. So as long as we see lower highs and lower lows, we're going to look for sells. But we don't just want to randomly and blindly go for sells. We still need to know what needs to happen for price to continue to go up. We need to know what needs to happen for price to continue to go down, the difference between retracement, retest, reversal, and most importantly, how to avoid fake outs and liquidity sweeps. And that's exactly when we pull out the best trading book in the game. Let me move it so TikTok can see. And that's when we pull out the price action technical analysis playbook. Again, y'all, this works on stocks, forex, options, futures, and crypto, right? So when you first get the book, shout out to those that got y'all copies. When y'all first get the book, you need to read it in order at least 2 to 3 times. After you read it in order 2 to 3 times, you understand how it works. This is how you use it. Since we're in a downtrend, all we're going to do is go to the rules of the downtrend, right? That's all we're going to do is go to the rules of the downtrend. When we go to the rules of the downtrend, what does the rules of the downtrend say? It says right here, for price to continue going down, it has to do what? Break support levels and turn them into resistance levels. That is what creates the lower low. So when we look at US 30YM, what did price do? Broke support levels, turned it into resistance levels. Broke a support level, turned it into resistance level, right? That's what needs to happen for price to go down. We have to break support levels, turn them into resistance levels. Right, so it's the exact opposite for price to go up. The only way the uptrend would come into play is if price breaks past the lower high or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, like how the green arrow shows. So what does that look like with GJ? All right, we have the lower high and then we have the lower low. So let me zoom in so y'all can see this a little bit better. Let's get rid of this real quick. So this is the lower high right here. Boom. And this is the lower low right here. Boom. All right. So with that being said, let's get rid of this and let's hit the play button and see what price does. All right. Again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat. Want me to look at any charts, drop in the chat and I got y'all. So what are we looking for right here, y'all? Are we going for buys or sells right here? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Are we going for buys or sells right here? What we got? What we got? Are we going for buys or sells right here? Based on what we just read, you open up the chart and you see this. What are we going for? Are we going for buys or sells right here? Buys, 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 sells, sells. Let's get a couple more answers, y'all. What we got? What we got? Buys, buys, sells. What we got, y'all? What we got? Sells. All right, I see you too on YouTube too, David. I see you. Sells. All right. Is this live? I'm live on TikTok right now. This is correct. This is correct. And you're asking, is this paper? Maybe you can't see it, right? But you can see that I'm on bar replay, right? The title of the live says exposing the secrets to the charts, right? And it's 3 o'clock. So the markets close at 4 and 5 p.m. So I wouldn't recommend anybody taking setups at this time. So right now, what we're doing is we're breaking down the setups we took earlier today, as well as breaking down exactly how the markets work, right? The reason why the live is titled Exposing Secrets to the Charts, because by the end of this live, you're gonna realize the markets are not out to get you. Price is not randomly doing things, and there are no coincidences in the markets. What I'm doing right now is I'm showing y'all, no matter how funky the markets look, how to know what trend we're in, how to know what to go for, and most importantly, how to avoid fake outs and liquidity sweeps, all right? So again, we took trades earlier today during London and New York session. So if this is your first time here, shout out to you. So make sure you have your notifications on, because we do lives like this at least 3 times a week during New York session. And we live stream, live chat every single day for free on YouTube. If y'all was in the live earlier today, we took this US 30YM sell. And again, for all the naysayers, it's on YouTube. Just check it out. Just check it out. All right, so let's get back into it, y'all. So those that said buys, lock y'all's answers in. Those that said sells, lock y'all's answers in. Let's hit the play button and see what price does. All right, let's hit the play button and see what price does. So I ended up rejecting to the upside, right? But prior to it rejecting to the upside, we did see some pushes to the downside, right? So again, for reference, we're on the daily time frame. When it comes to trend and market structure, we're on the daily time frame. So this lower low, if you look at the bottom of the screen, was at February 17th, right? This lower high retracement was February 18th. February 19th, we had this push to the downside, right? So what did we end up doing on February 19th? We ended up taking a GJ sell and we ended up making money. In fact, our final TV got hit on GJ. So why, even though we saw this juicy green candlestick, did we end up going for sells the next day? Now, granted, It didn't do a big move on the bigger time frame, but if we go to February 19th, you can see we still caught a decent move as far as the sell setup is concerned, right? So why did we go for sells? Whoops. Why did we go for sells instead of buys that day? Let's break it down. Why did we go for sells instead of buys that day? So let me try to find the date really quick. I think it's this one right here. No, it might be this one, right? So here it is, right? So even though we saw this retracement to the upside, right, we see clear bullish momentum on the 15. Why did we end up going for sells on February 19th and catching a 1 to 4, almost 1 to 5 RR, right? Why did when we went for a sell here, the price push to the downside? Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay, let's break it down. So again, what is the rules of the downtrend? For price to continue going down, it has to do what? Break support levels and turn them into resistance levels. That is what creates the lower low, okay? The only way the uptrend will come into play is if price breaks past the lower high or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, like how the green arrow shows. So price did end up rejecting to the upside, but it did not do that until 4 days later. And for y'all that went for buys, this is an example of when the reversal actually took place. We're going to show examples later on when that's not the case, all right? So don't get excited yet. We're just getting started. But a lot of y'all been asking me, okay, but what about when it does reverse? So this is an example of price actually reversing, right? So again, this is the lower high. This is the lower low. Now, why is this the lower high? This is the lower low. Because when we retrace price to steps, that's what we see: lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So looking at price right here, right? This is when I asked y'all, are we looking for buys or sells? Did we, yes or no, break past the previous high and turn the resistance level into support right here? Let me know in the chat. Did we right here break this resistance level and or turn it into a support level? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. Mark out the FEG. I don't trade FEGs. I don't trade FEGs. And I know y'all excited. I know y'all love learning how to trade, but do not call me daddy if you ain't a woman. All right, let's keep it regular. I don't want to say normal because I ain't a normal individual. Let's keep it regular over here. All right, let's chill out. I know y'all getting excited. Y'all love to trade, but that's not this type of live. All right, that's not this type of live. But let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on. Appreciate y'all tapping the screen as well, y'all. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Yes or no, y'all? Yes or no? I struggle with marking up the charts. Well, we're going over that right now, y'all. So it's all good. It's beginner friendly live. We're literally just getting started. I got you, queen. No, 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 no. Exactly, right? So at this moment, we did not break the rules of the downtrend. So even though we saw this juicy green candlestick, why did my crazy ass not go for buys on February 19th? Why instead did I go for sells with the members and students February 19th instead of buys, right? And why did we catch a 1 to 4 RR after we saw this big ass push to the upside on the 15-minute time frame? Is because we do not chase price. The internet teaches y'all to chase price. They tell y'all green means buy, red means sell. What I teach the members and students at Playmaker University is not to chase price, but follow the flow of price. So yes, we see the volume slow down, but like we all agree, we can clearly see that price did not break this resistance level and turn it into a support. That is why the next day we went for sales, and even though it looks like it didn't do a big ass move, y'all saw we still caught a 1 to 4 RR. So I don't know about y'all, but a 1 to 4 RR is a big move to me, right? That means whatever you risk, you would have made 4 times that amount, right? So in this case, if you would have risked $100, you would have made 400. If you would have risked 1,000, you would have made 4K. So this is a big trade, right? And again, why on smaller time frame we see bullish momentum, but then why did the sellers magically take over here? It's not because the sellers magically took over, but because again, on the bigger time frame, market structure wise, we're still in a downtrend. You see what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat that makes sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat that doesn't make sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. All right, again, if you got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. But we're just getting started. We're just getting started. So We see here again, price still holding as low as resistance, right? So then when we go into the next week on Monday, price yet again held as low as resistance. So guess how many times people would have fell for quote unquote fake outs, liquidity grabs, and all this other shit people talk about online because they kept on trying to chase price and go for the buys. A lot of times, right? So again, green does not mean buy, red does not mean sell. Uptrend means buy, downtrend means sell, all right? So again, until price, like it says, the only way the uptrend would come into play is if what? Price breaks past the lower high or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, right? So we still have not done that yet, which is why every time price broke this level, it rejected back down. And this is where the fake out liquidity grabs come because y'all forcing the setup before price shows you is ready to make the move. You see what I mean? So I'm about to cut to the chat in a second. So we finally see price broke out this level, but this wasn't until Tuesday, a whole week later. So if you would have continued to try to go for buys here, you would have got fucked up a bunch of times instead of just waiting for price to show you it's time to go for buys, right? So again, this was Tuesday, February 14th. So let me know in the chat now. While I catch you to the chat, yes or no? Did we either A, break past the lower high, or B, turn the previous resistance level into a support level? Yes or no? Looking at GJ right here, did we A, break past the high? Yes or no? And did we B, turn the previous resistance level into support? Did we do one of those two? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. But let me cut to the chat right now, y'all. Appreciate y'all tapping the screen. Let's tap that screen for 30 seconds. We're just getting started, y'all. We're just getting started. But yeah, Sandy, I don't trade FEGs. I don't trade patterns. I don't trade candlesticks. I trade simply market structure. All right, I only trade simply market structure. And there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason for that. We're going to see plenty of examples during this live stream. If y'all tune into the live streams on YouTube, you'll see plenty of examples of that during the live streams on YouTube as well. But the very first page of the playbook, before we even get to all the rules, what does the very first page of the playbook say? One thing you have to understand before getting started is that price is not randomly doing things and there are no coincidences in the markets. If you see something once, you'll see it twice. If you see it twice, you'll see it thrice. If you see it thrice, guess what? You'll see it every day, every week, every month. The charts are like a 1,000-piece puzzle, each candlestick being one piece to the puzzle. Do you think you can see the full picture with just one piece? Absolutely not, which is why exactly identifying a single candlestick does not help you understand everything. Think about it. These patterns of candlesticks people point out, do they actually explain what price is doing or why it's doing it? No, they just say when you see this, do this or do that. So that's why as soon as your FEG comes up, but it doesn't elemental P, you're back to square one, which is not understanding what's going on. That's why if you use indicators, as soon as the red line crosses the blue line and it doesn't do what the indicator is supposed to do, you're back to square one, which is not understanding what's going on. And then that's when these people come online and talk about, oh, I know, it was the magical buyers or sellers. No, that's not what's happening, y'all. That's not what is happening. That's not what is happening, all right? So let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I want to learn so bad, but I'm confused. Ask questions. You could have asked you could be 3 questions in right now, Chris. You feel me? If you're confused, ask questions. I promise. As long as you're not trolling, I'm here to answer questions. I got y'all. Bro, freestyling the sauce. Hey, the sauce is the sauce. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all heard that Gucci Mane speech. The sauce is the sauce. What time frame do I trade on? I use multiple time frames, all right? So I identify the trend on the daily. I enter off the 5 and the 15. I identify the trend on the daily. I enter off the 5 and the 15. So after this live is over, make sure to follow me on here, but make sure to hop onto the YouTube channel because I got tons of free trade breakdowns on YouTube, breaking down the full process from start to finish. And I got a bunch of other day trading tips videos as well. Let me pull it up really quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, you want to identify the trend on the bigger time frame. The bigger time frame gives you the bias, all right? Another main cause of fake out liquidity sweeps is because you're trying to determine what to go for all on the same time frame, or you're trying to identify the trend on the same time frame you're trying to look for entry off of. You can't do that, right? The smaller time frames show you what price is doing at that exact moment. The bigger time frames give you the bias. That's why, again, when we look at GJ, This is why people be talking about, oh, it's sellers taking over and buyers taking over, but it's not, right? Because look right here, we see a clear uptrend on the 15-minute time frame. But why did we go for sells here instead of continuing to go for buys? Because on the daily time frame, we saw a completely different market structure. So the people that are on the ground, instead of the bird's eye view, they say, oh, this is sellers magically taking over, or this is a fake out. But if you look at the market structure on the bigger time frame, you can see, oh, we're in a downtrend. That's why price dumped to the downside, right? Because again, look at this stagnant push up, and let me zoom in so y'all can see this better. Right, look at this stagnant push up, and then look at this huge ass dump to the downside. Right, the reason why it was a smoother drop to the downside than a push to the upside is because we're in a downtrend, right? Just like if we're in an uptrend, right? Let me show you an example when we're in an uptrend, right? Just like when we're in an uptrend, which we currently are in, you'll see the exact opposite. Look at the big explosion to the upside, right? Right now it's choppy, it's not doing a damn thing, but you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so we're gonna keep on going, y'all. We're gonna keep on going. But yeah, so after this live is over, make sure to go to the YouTube in the bio. Same name as the name you see right here. And I post weekly trade breakdowns. I got a new one dropping for y'all tomorrow. You go to playlist. There's literally over 170 videos of trade breakdowns, back to back to back, various buy and sell setups. Some of these we took during the London session live, like the US 30YM setup we took this morning. But all of them I took with the members and students. I break down from start to finish the whole process. Also, make sure to check out the day trade intensive playlist with a separate 150 videos going over market structure, trading psychology, funded accounts, all that good stuff. So make sure to check all that stuff out. Make sure to check all that stuff out. Support resistance doesn't work. LMAO. Y'all stop losses is my take profit. LMAO. Yes, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's just I went for a sell this morning using support and resistance. And this is what I'm telling y'all, right? So before I hurt your feelings, because I know how it goes. When I prove y'all wrong and humiliate y'all like to report me. So I'm just gonna pin your comments so people know what I'm responding to, right? So now you can get the fuck out of here and I can prove you wrong, okay? So he says support resistance doesn't work, but yet we see price holding this low as resistance. And what happened when price held this low as resistance? It pushed down. We see this level was marked off, and look what happened when price touched the support level. It pushed up, and the same level that's being treated as resistance that we took sells on is being treated as support. The same level being treated as resistance here was being treated as support and resistance. So for you to say support resistance doesn't work, you're goofy. All right, that's all to say about it. Now let's actually use that for a teachable moment, right? The reason why a lot of people say support resistance doesn't work is because they don't use it properly. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel, I got videos explaining exactly how support resistance works. So maybe I should have told Buddy that before I kicked his ass out, but it's all good. It's all good, right? He makes money off our stop losses, so he doesn't need this information. But for everybody else, make sure to go to the YouTube in the bio and check out the video titled How to Master Support Resistance, and check out the price action support resistance video on the YouTube channel, right? Because apparently it doesn't work. But the reason why people say support resistance doesn't work is because they use it improperly, right? For example, let's say right here you was looking for a buy setup. The internet loves to tell you about breakout trading. Let me ask y'all, let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this, my bad. What pushes price up, support or resistance? What pushes price up, support or resistance? Let me know in the chat. What pushes price up, support or resistance? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm about to cut you to the other chats in a second, but just gotta nip this in the bud. So Kofi, you said so it looks like support on the daily, but it still sells on the 15. I don't use the 1 hour. So again, you get your bias off the bigger time frame, you enter on the smaller time frame. Why we in replay when the market's open? Ladies and gentlemen, the market closes at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. I do not recommend anybody taking a trade an hour before market closes. Again, I took trades earlier this morning. We're breaking down the setups we took earlier this morning. So if you want to see me take trades or look for setups, you got to set your alarm clocks and be here in the morning. All right. I'm not going to take a trade 30 minutes before market closes. That's not smart. Bro, from what you just showed me in the book, that shit would break out to the upside and also come. It depends. But we're going to break it down. We're going to get back to it. We're just going to debunk this whole support resistance doesn't work really quick. And I got you, Nicole. We're like I said, we got a lot of examples. I've been using support resistance, said, oh, it doesn't work. If it's working, don't change it. That's what a lot of people mess up at. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm gonna cut you to the comments. So what pushes price up? Support, right? So this is why breakout trading doesn't work and why goofies like Steven, sorry if your name's Steven, but Steven ruined it for y'all, all right? The rest of y'all Stevens, y'all gotta redeem yourselves. But the reason why people say support resistance doesn't work is because they breakout trade. So if price is pushed up by support levels, does it make any sense to go for buys off of resistance levels? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Because that's what breakout traders tell y'all to do. They tell y'all once price breaks level, go for a buy or sell. But we just all agreed in the chat that support levels pushes price up. So why the hell are these gurus telling y'all to breakout trade and go against the flow of price, right? And they then, when price rejects like this, rejects like this, rejects like this, rejects like this, instead of realizing they're trying to go for buys off resistance levels instead of buys off support levels, what do they say? Oh, that's just the sellers took over, you know, that's because Trump sneezed in a different country. That's what it is. No, it's because you're fucking entering buys off resistance levels and sells off support levels, and you're surprised when price rejects against you. Again, if you wait for the break and retest and wait for price to turn level from a support to a resistance, you're going to see a lot more success with support resistance. Again, y'all are being taught to go against price and outsmart the markets. I'm telling y'all to go with the flow of price. So again, the reason why people like Steven says support resistance doesn't work is because they're breakout trading. And like we just agreed in the chat, if support levels pushes price up, why are they telling us to enter buys off resistance levels and sells off support levels? You see what I'm saying? Of course, if I go for a sell off a support level, it's going to reject up. Of course, if I go for a buy off a resistance level, it's going to reject down. That's what support resistance does, right? But if you wait for a break and retest, you will see a crazy thing happen. You'll have a higher likelihood of price going in your favor and direction. That's why during the live streams, I always tell y'all to wait for the break and retest, right? I always tell y'all to wait for the break and retest. Look right here. Why did price, right? Why did the sellers magically decided to do a push here, but if you would have went for a sell here, here, or here, you would have become a victim to a quote-unquote fake out liquidity grab? It's because price did not turn the support level into a resistance level, versus here we can clearly see price turn the support level into a resistance level. You see what I'm saying? So put a 1 in the chat that's making sense, put a 2 of our lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat that's making sense, put a 2 of our lost y'all. Just like right here. Why did price decide to reject here? And if you would have went for a sell here, you would have took a loss, because price did not turn this support level into a resistance level, y'all. Again, you do not want to chase price, but follow the flow of price. All right, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat that makes sense, put a 2 of our lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat that makes sense, put a 2 of our lost y'all. So let me cut you to the rest of the chat. I did not forget about y'all. I got y'all. Let me get back to where I left off at. But again, Eddie, if it's working, why change it? I'm telling you, do not let goofies like Buddy we just kicked out stop y'all from being successful. All right, if it's working, there's no reason to change it. Just seems like a lot at once. My boy, you just gotta ask questions, dude. Like, you just gotta ask questions. Of course, it's gonna be confusing if you're brand new to something and then you're also not asking clarifying questions. Again, unless you're trolling, ask questions. You're good over here. So let me know what's confusing, because even if I was to help you, you're saying it's confusing. What's confusing, right? So it's always going to be another question I have to ask you. So just say exactly what you're confused about. Ask your questions in the chat, and I got you. All right. Let's see what else we got. What time is the best time to trade GBP JPY? That's the beautiful thing about GBP JPY. You can trade that in any session. Now, I personally trade London and New York session, but there are plenty of settings that play out during Tokyo session as well. But I just have to pick a time for my schedule. That's the beautiful thing about day trading. The markets are open 23 hours out the day, 5 days out the week. So no matter what your schedule is, you're going to be able to find a setup throughout the day or throughout the night. Like before I started trading full time, I was working 6 jobs. I mean, not 6 jobs. I was working 6 days out the week, 2 jobs, and I only had time to trade at night. So that's how I found out and debunked the whole thing of Tokyo session has no volume. But also look at Sunday night, right? There was plenty of moves that happened Sunday night. All right, so let's get back into it. Y'all. Let's get back into it. Those that said 2, let me know what you're confused about. Those that said 2, let me know what you're confused about. We can talk about it. What do I trade? I trade Forex and futures. I trade Forex and futures. Yes, I only wait for the retest. I do not breakout trade. I only wait for the retest. Correct. All right. So picking up where we left off before we had a pause. Let's go back to the rules of the downtrend. All right. Let's go back to the rules of the downtrend. So let's go to the rules of the downtrend. And again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. I had a few 2s in the chat, so if you're confused, let me know what you're confused about. So like it says right here, the only way the uptrend will come into play is if price breaks past the lower high or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, like how the green arrow shows. All right. So like we agreed to in the chat, we broke past this lower high. So since we broke past this lower high, unless price pushes back down below, we're in reversal territory and possibly going to see the uptrend come into play, right? And guess what happened after price did that? We saw the uptrend come into play, right? We saw price push to the upside, and now we see what? We saw price turn this resistance level into a support level, right? So that means we're now seeing bullish momentum come into play, right? So again, for a reference, this was March 3rd, the beginning of the month. So that's why we went from going for GJ sells to then switching to what? GJ buys, right? After the cycle change, we went from GJ sells to GJ buys. What do you see right here? Again, February 23rd and February 19th, we went for sells. As soon as price broke this point, you don't see us going for buys on the 24th or the 25th, right? Why? Because we waited for the confirmation for price to show us it's time to go for buys. And once price shows us the confirmation that was no longer in a downtrend, but was in the uptrend, that's when we went for buys and we was able to make some fucking bread, right? And again, when did we go for that buy setup? What does that date say? That says February 25th. What happened February 25th? Price closed. The next day we went for buys, right? So again, you see when we didn't close above, we went for sells. When we closed above, we went for buys. So again, I promise y'all, I'm not on TikTok board. Everything I'm telling y'all to do, I actually do. Everything I tell y'all not to do, I actually do. I mean, I don't do. That's why I don't do it no more. All right. So then what happened after this? A crazy thing happened. Price flew to the upside. That's why we've been going for buys all this month on GJ, because the trend changed, right? That's why we've been going for buys all month on GJ, because the trend changed, right? Again, you do not want to chase price, but follow the flow of price. Again, what do you see? Another GJ buy. TP's getting hit, right? Obviously, we don't trade GJ every day, but every time you see a GJ setup, you're going to see it's a buy setup, right? Obviously, going for GU sells. We're going to talk about GU in a little bit. Going for gold buys. Another GJ buy setup. Made money. Again, when was this? It's March 9th. When was March 9th? Right here. So again, y'all, I promise y'all, I'm not on TradingView just dicking around, okay? So let's get back into it. So for those that's just joined the live, make sure to read the title of the live. Like the title of the live says, we're exposing the secrets to the charts. By the end of this live, you're going to realize the markets are not out to get you. Price is not randomly doing things, and there are no coincidences in the markets. I'm going to show you, no matter how funky the charts look, how to know what trend we're in, how to know whether to go for buys or sells, and most importantly, how to avoid fake outs and liquidity sweeps. All right, if y'all have any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. So we're going to start with another example, y'all. So again, this was an example of what it looks like for the trend to change. Again, trading is about going for high probability, high quality setups. All right. So now we're going to break down why all this month we've been going for US 30 YM sales. All right. So that's what we're about to break down right now. Okay. So while I catch you to the chat, you watch any of my trade breakdowns on YouTube, what is the very first thing I always talk about? How we have to identify the trend and the cycle we're in. Fortunately for us, there's only 3 cycles price is ever going to be in. We got the uptrend, we got consolidation, and we have the downtrend. And for those that are brand new to trading, right? So Chris, if you're still in here, if you are brand new to trading, click the link in the bio. When you click the link in the bio, click the first and second link, join the free crash course, join the free room. If the links do not work, I repeat, if the links do not work, just DM me after the live. Hey, can I get the links? And I got y'all. All right. So again, if you're brand new to trading, join the free trading crash course and join the free room. All right. Let's get into it. So I kept it to the chat. Out of these 3 cycles, what do we see US 30 in? Put UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. What do we see right here? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. What we got, y'all? What we got? Let me know in the chat. What do we got right here? What we got right here? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. We got 53 people up in here, y'all. There's a participation class. Everybody's in here to learn. So let's see some answers in the chat. If you don't know, either y'all say I don't know or guess, then not say anything at all. You said, do you start at the beginning of the day when looking for trends, or could I look at it like 10 minutes before? It depends. Some people take longer to figure out what the hell's going on than others. I'm at the point now where I can wake up 10 minutes, 20 minutes before market open. But if you're newer and you might take a little bit longer to process or figure out what's going on, you might have to do 30 minutes or an hour beforehand, right? Again, you want to be ready before the move happens. You don't want to be trying to figure out your trading setup, whether you're going for buys or sells, your entry, your SL, your TPs, and the bias as the move is taking place. You want to be there earlier so then you can meet price where you want to meet price at so you can get the entry you're looking for, right? Like for example, this US 30 setup. I was here before price broke this level and held it as resistance, right? I was ready for this setup before the setup played out. So that way I was able to catch the move. You see what I mean? So you don't want to, like for example, you trade in New York session, you don't want to wait for 8 o'clock to then do your analysis or wait for 9:30 open to do your analysis. You want to do it before the volume kicks in. So that way you know what your bias and your game plan is. That way you can hop into the trade as your confirmations are being met versus trying to chase the setup as it's taking off without you. Good question though. Let's see what else we got. Start over. We're going to be doing a lot of examples. Like I said, we're just getting started, y'all. We're just getting started. Let me make sure I'm not missing any comments. No breakouts, no chasing trades. Exactly, LG. How do you know when it's a retest? Simply when it does what it, so retest means literally retest, right? So I'm gonna show you an example, but also make sure to go to the YouTube in the bio and check out the support resistance video, how to master support resistance levels. But it's simply like, we saw this during the live stream today, so make sure to tune into tomorrow's live stream. We don't just do lives like this 3 times a week during New York session, but we live stream every single day for free on YouTube, right? So if y'all was in today's live stream, you will saw a perfect example of a retest, right? So again, support levels pushes price up, resistance levels pushes price down. So when we took this US 30 setup, what we wanted to see was price not just break this level. And again, this is why I tell you not to chase price but follow the flow of price, because we see on the smaller time frame a uptrend. But why did we go for sells here instead of buys? Because on the bigger time frame, we are in a downtrend. Again, y'all, you have to identify the trend on the bigger time frame. I don't care if you're a scalper, you still need to go into a bigger time frame to identify the trend, right? Because this is a perfect example of when people talk about fake out liquidity sweeps, or why people think it's just sellers and buyers magically taking over. It's not the case, right? Because again, if we look at US 30 YM on a bigger time frame, we're not going to see an uptrend, we're going to see a downtrend, right? So that's why today, even though we saw this push happen before London session, I still was looking for sales, and that's why we made money today instead of going for buys here, right? Because again, you do not want to chase price, you want to follow the flow of price. So again, I want to see price retest this level once it broke. So after price broke this level, I want to see price retest, which means it's going to show me if price is holding this level as resistance or price is going to reject and shoot back up, right? So when I hit the play button, you're going to see exactly price react to my blue level that way. You can see price broke, you can see price retested, and you can see how it wicked and rejected and it's holding the level as resistance, right? So you see how it's holding that level as resistance, and that's when price pushed to the downside, you see? And you see when price hit this level, it held it as support, that's why price pushed up. You see, that's why I say you want to enter sells off resistance levels, buys off support levels. That's why breakout trading doesn't work, because you're not using the flow and momentum to your advantage. You're actually going against the flow and the current. All right, so obviously this is a bar replay, so it's a lot easier to see it in real time. So just tune into the live stream tomorrow. We're gonna be back live tomorrow on YouTube. So again, y'all, what do we see right here? Out of the 3 cycles, what do we see out of the 3 cycles right here? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. Let me see what y'all said. Let me see what y'all said. How do you mark your chart for support resistance? I'm not marking my chart for support resistance right now. All I'm doing right now is I'm visibly showing y'all where the high and the low is. Not the daily highs and lows like people on the internet talk about. I'm talking about the actual current high and the current low, right? Because what does the uptrend and downtrend consist of? All right, let me know in the chat. What does the uptrend and downtrend consist of? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Been searching for the right person to learn from. Hey, you done searching now. Just make sure to follow so you don't got to search no more. What are the best time frames in the evening to trade? It's the same time frames. That's the thing, y'all. Whatever time frames you use to trade London session should be the same time frames you trade New York session, should be the same time frames you trade Tokyo session, right? You should do the same thing every single time. That's another reason why people don't see consistency in the markets, because they're doing inconsistent things, right? But when you know better, you do better. So the same strategy I would use during London session is the same strategy I use during New York session, is also the same strategy I use during Tokyo session. So make sure to check out the trade breakdowns playlist on YouTube, but it's simply like this. You identify the trend on the daily, you enter off the 5 and the 15, just like that. You identify the trend on the daily, that's your bias. Based on your bias on the daily time frame, you then go to the smaller time frame, wait for your confirmation to go for buys or sells. That's all it is to it. No trend lines, no indicators, no looking at Twitter posts, no FEGs, no L1Ps. All you got to do is understand market structure. And that's what we're breaking down right now. So let's see what y'all talking about. Let's see what y'all talking about. Let me zoom out a little bit so y'all can see this a little bit better. So we got uptrend consolidation. How do you determine your SL and TP levels when you decide to enter? So SL and TPs aren't levels. SL and TPs are strategically placed to where to enter and exit at, right? I mean, exit at both profit and SL wise, right? So your stop loss should be strategically placed market structure wise, where price was to reject that level, you're most likely wrong, and that's your cue to get out the trade. Your TP should be placed where it's right before the next rejection or right at the next rejection, right? So for example, we took this US 30YM setup this morning, right? And for all the naysayers, we're in the advanced place signal room. What's today's date? March 24th. And what did we do? At 4:39 a.m., we took a US 30 YM setup. It's called US 30 setup for the Forex indice traders, YM setup for the future traders. So again, I am not on TikTok. I love myself too much to be wasting my time on TikTok. I promise y'all, I'm here to help y'all out, right? So we took this sell setup. The final TP was at 46.70, right? So when I do this right here, and I type in the coordinates 46.070, what are we going to see price goes to? Right at this level. So why was my TP at this level? The same reason why after price hit my TP, it rejected, right? So it is also the same reason why when the final TP got hit, what did I tell the members of students? Move SL and profit or close, and we hit the next zone. I said that at 5:15 candlestick, right? This was the 5:10 candle. This was the 5:15. So what happened as soon as I told the members of students we hit that zone, it rejected, right? So if you're looking for sells, you want to enter off resistance levels, exit off support levels. If you're looking for buys, you want to enter off support levels, exit off resistance levels. If I'm going for sells, my stop loss needs to be above the resistance level. If I'm going for buys, my stop loss needs to be below the support level. But it's all conditional. Like, I'm not one of these motherfuckers, oh, you know, target 30 points. That's not accurate. That's not how shit works. I wish it did, but that's not how shit works. Let's see what else we got. We didn't get too many answers in the chat, y'all. We got 67 people up in here, y'all. Again, unless you're trolling, this is a safe space. Out of these 3 cycles, we have the uptrend, downtrend, and consolidation. What cycle do we see US 30 YM in? Put UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. What we got, y'all? What we got? Let's see what else we got up in here. Equal highs. That's not an option. It's not an option. Equal highs is not an option. Uptrend, downtrend, consolidations is the only options. Equal highs is not an option. Now, why is that not an option? Because that is not how the markets work, okay? The charts are like a 1,000-piece puzzle, each candlestick being one piece to the puzzle. Do you think you can see the full picture with just one piece? No, you cannot. Which is why identifying single candlesticks does not help you understand everything. Think about it. These patterns or candlesticks people point out, do they actually explain what price is doing or why it's doing it? No, they just say when you see this, do this or do that. I'm showing y'all what the full picture is. What these folks on the internet are doing, they got a 1,000-piece puzzle box. They don't even look at the picture on the box. They throw the box away, throw the puzzle pieces on the ground, and now they're sifting through the puzzle pieces. And then when they see a picture on a piece of the puzzle, they get excited, and then they're on the internet talking about, look what I found, look what I found. But they don't know where the fuck that piece goes, and they don't even know what the full picture is. That's why every time these rules gets broken, they have a scapegoat of, oh, that's just the buyers or sellers taking over. That's not how the fucking markets work, right? You're never, if you ever hear me say that shit, when I take a loss or win, I say it's because the buyers or sellers, clip that and get my page taken down, because that's not how the markets work. So again, y'all, what do we got? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. What we got? So we got some we got a lot of people say consolidation. All right, cool. So we are consolidating right now, right? So consolidation, also known as liquidity. What is consolidation, also known as liquidity? All it is, again, it's not buyers and sellers, it's not orders pending. All consolidation and liquidity is low volume. And when there's low volume, price is struggling to make higher highs as well as lower lows. It's struggling to break the resistance level above and the support level below, which is why you see price stuck in place right here. Right? This is why a lot of people until this week have been complaining about, well, they're probably still complaining about NQ this week, who knows? But that's why everybody's been complaining about NQ, because NQ has been consolidating up till last week on Friday for over a month straight, right? So again, we see price struggling to break this resistance level, and we also see price struggling to break the support level. So when price is consolidating, you don't want to trade while price is consolidating. You want to wait for price to either break the resistance level, turn to support and continue or start the uptrend, or you want to wait for price to break the support level, turn it into resistance level, and start or continue the downtrend. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat this is making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat this is making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. Alright? So we are consolidating. For those that said uptrend, you're also correct. Because prior to the consolidation, which again is just the volume slowing down, prior to the volume slowing down, we was indeed in fact in the uptrend, and we have indeed in fact seen higher highs and higher lows get made. But currently we are consolidating. So at this point, again, we're waiting for price to either start or continue the uptrend or start or continue the downtrend. All right, y'all. If you got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. I know y'all locked in taking notes, but let's spam tap the screen. Let's fill that bar up for 30 seconds. Let's get to 6K likes, y'all. I see y'all on YouTube as well. All right, let's get to 6K likes, y'all. So when we hit the play button, what do we see price do? We see price do exactly that, right? We see price break the support level, turn it into a resistance, right? And look at how price just look how the sellers magically took over once we turn the support level into resistance. Again, y'all, this is why I tell y'all the shit they talk about on the internet is not how it's happening. It's very logical what is taking place. But when you don't understand what's taking place, that's when you come up with these fairy tale stories, right? But yeah. So now let me know in the chat while I cut this to the chat. Which one of these 3 cycles do we see? Do we see an uptrend? Do we see a downtrend? Or do we see consolidation? Put UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. What we got, y'all? What we got? Let me know in the chat. What do we see right now? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. Ones. All right, perfect. What's going on, Day? How you feeling? And Day, I got you, because I know your ass be working. So for those that have to leave, that doesn't mean leave. Come on, y'all. Let's be for real. But for those that came in late or got to leave, this will be uploaded on YouTube, so it's all good. What the hell is GC doing? Well, let's take a look. Let's see what GC is doing. It's chilling in place. Now, why is it chilling in place? Because the market's about to close. So I wouldn't recommend taking a trade right now because the market's literally about to close in like 30 seconds. But GC is literally, again, hugging the support resistance level, right? That's all it's doing right now. It did a nice drop during New York session, but it's just chilling right now. It's just chilling right now. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Yep, that's why it's best to wait for the candles to close before entry too. Exactly. Downtrend. What's ES looking like? Probably like US 30. Downtrend. Okay, that's a bad data. What about ES? You fiending a little too much. I got you. I feel like I can hear your neck. I can hear you scratching your neck right now. Let's go look at ES really quick. I got you, my boy. I got you. All right, so stop scratching that neck. All right, I got you. Let's look at ES. Again, the markets are closed right now, so I don't know why y'all are fiending for setups right now, but ES is looking just like US 30. It's in a downtrend. All right, it's in a downtrend right now. But the markets are closing. So, again, just tune into the live stream tomorrow if you want to know the analysis for ES. All right, so we're in a downtrend. So let me know in the chat, y'all. Now, we're not just in a downtrend because we see this juicy drop to the downside. Why are we in a downtrend? Let me know in the chat, what does the downtrend consist of, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the chat, what does the downtrend consist of? Oh, I'm not looking for a setup. I just don't want to check my computer for my trade. Oh, man. That's a good habit to build right there, my boy. Everybody do the exact opposite of what my boy's doing in the chat, all right? That is not what you want to do. How are you going to put your money on the line but be too lazy to see what the hell's going on? Like, you're laughing a little bit too much. These are the people that be talking about trading is gambling. These are people that be talking about trading is risky because they're, just doing dumb shit. Again, don't take it personal. I don't know you personally, but what you're doing is dumb shit. All right, again, I don't know you personally. I bet you're a great guy. I bet you're a family man, but that's dumb. All right, that's silly. Let's see what else we got. Again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. Yes, what we're talking about works on everything, ladies and gentlemen. It works on stocks, forex, options, futures, and crypto. What we're going over right now is price action and technical analysis. Anything you can day trade, anything you can long-term invest in, anything you can type into TradingView, all charts work the exact same way. That's how I'm able to trade gold, then the next day trade US 30, then the next day trade NASDAQ 100, then the next day trade GJ, trade GU. I can trade whatever I want. And again, y'all, we've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. Make sure to click the link in the bio. Make sure to click the first and second link. Make sure to join the first link to join the free trading crash course, second link to join the free room. And if the links do not work, just DM me after the live. Hey, can I get the links? And I got y'all. But when y'all join the second link, you can see not just how we do on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis, but again, you can see we've been doing this shit since 2022, averaging high 80, high 90% win rates. So again, y'all, I promise I wasn't bored yesterday. So you know what? I'm just gonna go on TikTok live and talk about shit. I promise y'all, I'm here to help y'all out. All right. So let me see what y'all talking about. What is the downtrend consist of? Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me see what y'all talking about. Lower lows, lower highs. Now higher lows, lower highs. You almost had. It's probably just you probably mixed the letters up there. That is not what y'all talking about. I said, what does the downtrend consist of? You said liquidity sweeps. All right, I'm not even gonna get into that. We're not gonna do that today. Lower highs, lower lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. No, you're good, you're good. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. These are the people that swear they're profitable, but they're in my live stream trolling. So let me help you out, right? Because, I'm not these other pages. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to kick you out, right? I'm not going to let you in my house and have you argue. What the fuck? Get out. It's that simple. So let's keep on pushing. Let's keep on pushing. How can you get the playbook? So click the link in the bio. When you click the link in the bio, scroll to the bottom where it says price action technical analysis playbook. You can get your copy right there. So like y'all said in the chat, the downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows. So we're not in a downtrend because we see this juicy red candlestick. We're in a downtrend because the downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows. And when we retrace price's steps, what do we see? We see lower highs and lower lows. All right. So if we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger, ladies and gentlemen? The move to the upside or move to the downside? Put US for upside, DS for downside. If we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger? The move to the upside or move to the downside? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And again, if you got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. It's going to bounce up. That's not what I asked. Again, I'm not Rumpelstiltskin. I'm not the Riddler. I do poetry, but I'm not doing no hyperboles and innuendos right now. I'm a very blunt person. So what I say is literally what I mean. So I asked what move is bigger, the move to the downside, the move to the upside. It's going to bounce up does not answer my question. All right. So if you're going to be in this live, let's just answer the question. All right. Let's just answer the question. I need to make at least 1K a week. What's a good strategy? You need to know math, right? And I'm not even being funny. You need to know math. So I actually have a video dropping later on this week talking about that. But you can't just make 1K a week. You have to figure out and face reality on how you're going to accomplish that. What is 1K a week, y'all? What is 1K a week, right? Like we just pull out. What would 1K a week be? There's 5 trading days out the week. So making 1K a week would mean 1,000 divided by 5. You would need to make 200 smeckles per trade, assuming that you don't lose any trades within the 5 trading days. So not only are you going to need to have a high RR setup, and by high RR, I'm not meaning a 1 to 10, you're going to need at least a 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 RR setup, but you're going to also need enough capital to even make $200 or more per day. So before you can achieve that goal, you have to ask yourself, do you have enough capital that you can risk $100 per trade? Yes or no? Do you have enough capital that you can risk $300 a day? Yes or no? If you cannot do that, I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news, but I love to do this because this is another reason why people blow their accounts. Because I saw this chick the other day. Oh, I just turned $20 into $200. Cut it out. Cut it out. This is why people be thinking they can do these account flips and shit. That is not her last dollar. That is some fuck around money, right? So again, you have to understand the math. I split up trading into 3 parts. The first part is what we're talking about right now, is the charts. I literally just dropped a video talking about this as well. The first part is the charts. Once you got the charts down, then you need to have a trading plan and a trading strategy. Okay? And once you have the trading plan, the trading strategy down, then you need to understand simple math, okay? So after this live is over, hop onto the YouTube, and I literally just dropped a video a couple weeks ago going over how to count pips and points, because you're also not going to be able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish if you don't know how to calculate your contracts or lot size. All right, so make sure to check out this video as well. Okay, y'all? So again, y'all, US for upside, DS for downside. If we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger, y'all? What move is bigger? Can I turn the music down? Can't hear me? No problem. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Let me turn the music down a little bit. All right, let me know if that's better. Let me know if that's better, trading. Let me know if that's better. All right, let me know if that's better. Let me try to adjust it a little bit as well. There we go. All right, let me know if that sounds better. Let me know if that sounds better. And also let me know if I sound quiet, because sometimes when I'm looking at my phone, I'm not by my mic. So just let me know, YouTube, and I got you. Downside, 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 downside. Exactly, right? So if we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, and the move to the downside is bigger than the move to the upside, if we was to ignore everything we hear on the internet, right? If we was to close our eyes and use simple logic, if we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, and the move to the downside is bigger than the move to the upside, what makes the most sense to go for, buys or sells? Let me know in the chat, y'all. What makes the most sense to go for, buys or sells? Let me know, y'all. Let me know. And again, if you got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. Let me know. Let me know what makes the most sense to go for, buys or sells. Buys or sells. And for reference, this is US30YM at the beginning of the month. This is Tuesday, March 3rd. So we're going to be breaking down why we were taking sells all this month, as well as how to identify the trend. Okay, so this was Tuesday, March 3rd. Taser everybody's giving me a hard time to fund my account. What's it saying? What's it saying? And worst comes to worst, contact their support. Because they're a regulated broker, so they're kind of strict on what kind of bank accounts you can use. So just contact support, and if they aren't accepting your bank, just DM me and I got another Forex account you can trade. How much would 100 most likely be turned into? It depends, Chanel. So let's pull the calculator back out. So if you have $100, 1% is $1, right? If you have $100, 5% is $5. So you're going to be seeing what it will look like small gains and profits, but $3 on a $100 account is 3%. So 3% is not bad at all, right? So you either would want to start trading with that, practice and study and use that to buy a funded account so you can make more money, or every paycheck just throw more money into your trading account so that $100 can turn to 200 and 300 and 400, and the next thing you know you got 2K in your account, you're trading, right? This is where a lot of people get fucked up at. This is why I don't be doing this clickbaity shit, right? So let's say there's three traders. The first trader has a 10K account, okay? The second trader has a 1K account, and the third trader has a $100 account. Let's say trader number one made 5%, so they made $5. Trader number two made 5%, but they made $50. And then trader number three made 5%. I know I fucked up, but this is trader number three, right? Made $500. So who made more? Trader number three with the 10K account, trader number two with the $1,000 account, or trader number one with the $100? Who made the most? 1, 2, or 3? Trader one with the 100, trader two with the 1K, trader three with the 10K. Who made the most money, y'all? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, y'all. Let me know in the chat. Who made the most money out of those three traders? $1K, the one who made 500. Let's get some more answers in the chat, y'all. One. It's all good, Miss Galore. I got you. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know. As long as you're not as long as you're not trolling, it's all good. Who made the most money? 1, 2, or 3? Y'all. 1, 2, or 3. The correct answer is what Out the Box said. They all made the same amount. And this is how these gurus trick y'all to pay 2K for their fucking courses, right? So the next time you see a trader be like, oh, I made 1K today. Congratulations, you traded a $100,000 account and you made 1%. Congratulations. Oh my God, you made 1%. You're so good at trading. Let me pay you 5K for your course, right? This is why these people be fucking tricking y'all, okay? Because at the end of the day, they all made the same amount. 5% is 5%. The bigger the number you start off with, the bigger that 5% may seem, but 5% is 5% at the end of the day. So the next time you see these gurus online, oh, I made 2K today. Oh, congrats, you made 2% on a 100K account. That is so impressive. Wow, making 2%. But again, if they explain that to you, you wouldn't be so impressed. So a lot of these motherfuckers be finessing the fuck out of you because they make it seem like if you learn from them, you're going to magically make what they're making, or you start thinking crazy numbers you can make with your account. That's why when you start trading with a smaller size account, you might be making excellent returns per trade. But then you think back in the back of your head, well, this person online made $500, this person made 2K, so let me over leverage, let me over trade. But if you think percentage is not numbers, those percentages will then turn to whole numbers, right? So instead of asking, oh, how can I make 1K a day? How can I make 200 a day? Ask yourself, okay, how can I make 2% a day? How can I make 3% a day, right? Because as you grow your accounts, the percentage is going to grow, okay? So again, the next time you see a motherfucker bragging about making 2K, say congrats, you made 2%, whoop-de-doo, all right? So like y'all said in the chat, in a downtrend, trending downwards, the moves to the downside are bigger than the moves to the upside. Like I said, it only makes sense to go for sells, all right? So again, looking at price right here, this was Tuesday, March 3rd, all right? Now, we go live every single day for free on YouTube. So if y'all was in the live stream on Tuesday, March 3rd, or just watch the live stream for Tuesday, March 3rd, it's on YouTube, it's dated, time documented, okay, none of this stuff up. But if you watch the live stream on Tuesday, March 3rd, I told y'all to go for US 30, I'm not March 3rd, March 4th, excuse me. I told y'all to go for US 30 sales, okay? So why did my ass go for sales on March 4th and March 3rd? And what else did we have going on March 4th? We had the big, bad, scary ADP popping off, right? And then Thursday, we had the big, bad, scary unemployment claims popping off. So these gurus online are either going to be confused or they're going to talk about, oh, because Trump sees in another country price push down. But we just all agreed in the chat that if we're in a downtrend, trending downwards, what move is bigger? The move to the downside, right? So this is March 4th. What are we going for right here, y'all? You open up the chart and you see this. What are we going for? Buys or sells? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. If you open up the chart and you see this, what are we going for, y'all? Buys or sells? Let me know, y'all. Let me know. We got 60 people over here. I'm looking at the YouTube chat as well. What are we going for right here? Buys or sells? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Appreciate the gifts. Appreciate y'all tapping the screen. You ain't got to do that, but I appreciate it. Make sure to follow me on here because we do lives like this at least 3 times a week during New York session. We live stream, live trade every single day for free on YouTube. All right. This is US 30 YM. We're looking at US 30 YM right now. We're looking at US 30 YM right now. Which are buys, which are sells? What you mean by that, Miss Galore? Let's get some answers in the chat, y'all. Let's not be shy. Everybody's in here to learn. All right, we're not gonna roast and make fun of you. You don't know what you don't know. What are we going for right here, y'all? Buys or sells? Let's get some more answers in the chat, y'all. I know y'all all ain't at work. All right, I know y'all can answer. I know you have the answer typed up. Just hit send. Just hit send and look away. It's all good. I got y'all. I got y'all. Yes, I'm in a group right now. They want me to buy in after they've given us a few successful. Your comment cut off. Yep, exactly, JJ. Everybody had their 5%. Exactly. What is this? This is US 30 YM, y'all. This is US 30 YM. We're breaking down the trades we took this month. Again, for reference, this is Wednesday, March 4th, okay? Just DM me Day and I got you. We're gonna figure it out, Day. Just DM me and I got you. What time do I go live? 3 a.m. EST on YouTube, 3 p.m. EST on TikTok. Sells. Sell, bud. So even if you don't mean disrespect, I'm gonna get you out of here. I don't know you like that. Don't call me bud. That's like what you call a dog or something. I know other countries like in Europe they're saying buddy, but I don't like that shit. So you gotta get out of here. All right. So those that said buys lock y'all's answers in. Those that said sells lock y'all's answers in. But let's see the play button and see what price did. So price ended up pushing to the downside. So why, even though we saw this doji candlestick, right? We saw this doji candlestick, and then we saw this juicy green candlestick. Why did price push to the downside? Why did price push to the downside? Let's talk about it. All right. Let's talk about it. So we got to retrace price in steps. Out of these 3 cycles, which one of these 3 cycles do we see, y'all? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. Out of these 3 cycles, what do we see right here, y'all? UT for uptrend, DT for downtrend, consolidation for consolidation. Which one of these 3 cycles do we see? We're about to break it all the way down, right? We're about to break it all the way down. Downtrend, right? So again, we already agreed moves to the downside are bigger than the moves to the upside. So we're going to pull out the price action technical analysis playbook, and since we're in a downtrend, we're going to go to the rules of the downtrend. If y'all ain't got y'all's copy, get y'all's copy, y'all. Get y'all's copy. All right, so like it says right here, let me move this over a little bit so y'all can see this on TikTok. There we go. So like it says right here, for price to continue going down, it has to do what? Break support levels and turn them into resistance levels. That is what creates the lower low. The only way the uptrend will come into play is if price breaks past the lower high, or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, like how the green arrow shows. So what does that look like? When we retrace price in steps, we have the lower high and we have the lower low. All right, this is the lower high right here, boom. This is the lower low right here, boom, right? So then I asked y'all, are we looking for buys or sells, right? And a beautiful thing about knowing the rules of price, you don't have to guess anything, right? It says the only way the uptrend will come into play is if what? Price breaks past the lower high, or breaks past the lower high and turn the previous resistance level into a support level, like how the green arrow shows. So let me know in the chat, yes or no. Did price A break past the lower high, or did price B turn the resistance level into a support level? Yes or no. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Yes or no. Did price break past this high, and did price break this and turn this resistance level into a support level? Yes or no? And if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat and I got y'all. I know y'all locked in, taking notes. Let's spam tap that screen for 30 seconds, y'all. Let's get to 12K likes. We can get to that easily. And also make sure to click the link in the bio. Click the first and second link, join the free crash course and the free signal room. If the links do not work, just DM me after the live on this page. Hey, can I get the links? And I got y'all. To get y'all's copy of the playbook, scroll to the bottom, price action technical analysis playbook. And of course, you want to learn from me, copy my signals, y'all can do that stuff as well. So yes or no, y'all. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let's see what we got. Yeah, let them know, Day. Let them know. Let them know. What do we got? What we got? And Ms. Galore, you guessed correctly, so you're already picking it up. The answer is sells. Yes, the answer is sells. So right now we're breaking down why the answer is sells. I'm a little lost. Let's talk about it. What are you lost about? I'm trying to get into stocks. What's the best site to make an account on? You got options. Like, there's literally a bunch. Like, there's Robinhood. Shouldn't even buy stocks on fucking Cash App. It just depends. It just depends. Just do research. Do research, because there's a lot of options. You know, Fidelity, it just depends. Like, there's literally a bunch of apps and brokers you can buy stocks on. Explain again. We're about to. We're about to. I promise I'm not about to end this live. No, 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 no. For those saying yes, for the answer to be yes, price would literally have to do this right here. If price is down here, the answer is no, right? Because again, the only way the uptrend will come into play is if it does this. So if price is right here, it did not do this, okay? The internet teaches y'all to chase price. What I teach the members and students of Playmaker University is not to chase price, but follow the flow of price. What you have to understand is red does not mean sell, green does not mean buy. Uptrend means buy, downtrend means sell. So, what does the downtrend consist of, y'all? Let me know in the chat, what does the downtrend consist of? Let me know in the chat what the downtrend consists of, y'all. Let me know, y'all. Let me know. What does the downtrend consist of? What does the downtrend consist of? Now, while y'all answering that in the chat, again, this retracement took place Wednesday, March 4th. So why, even though we saw this infamous doji candlestick, right, this hammerhead shark, right, why, even though we're holding this level as support and we saw this juicy green candlestick, why did my crazy ass on March 5th tell the members to go for US 30 and YM sales? Why did we go for US 30 and YM sales when we see a juicy green candlestick going to the upside? Why did we do that, y'all? Why did we do that? Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat first. Okay, you said you're confused, but you're saying, okay. Like I said, like, I have a low tolerance. Like, you'll be surprised how many people in my DM saying unblock me. If y'all do dumb shit, I'm just gonna block you. You said you're confused and now you're typing random shit in the chat, so just get the fuck out of here. Let's keep it pushing. I'm telling y'all on the wrong live. I'm not the type of motherfucker that's gonna stress myself out because y'all wanna act like we're on TikTok, so let me chill out. I'm real quick to block motherfuckers. I do not care. How did you get those zigzag lines on the chart? All right, so these are not zigzag lines, all right? So let's break it down. So when you scroll up, Chaz, you'll see people are saying in the chat lower highs and lower lows. So I asked y'all, what does the downtrend consist of? Lower highs and lower lows. So all I'm doing is retracing prices steps, right? So if the downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows, assuming the downtrend is going to continue, we see prices currently doing a lower high. So what comes after a lower high, y'all? Let me know in the chat. We got 80 people up in here. What comes after a lower high? We should not just see the same 5 people answering in the chat, y'all. This is a participation class. All right, there should be only 2 reasons why you're in this live. A, because you're trying to learn some shit. B, because you like my voice, or C, all of the above. All right, let's answer in the chat. Again, we're not gonna roast you unless you're doing dumb shit. All right, so you're trying to learn some shit, drop some questions in the chat, drop some answers in the chat. What comes after a lower high? Lower lows, exactly. See, ain't nothing wrong with that. Get you some AirPods, it's gonna sound a lot better. All right, so if the downtrend, stick with me, y'all. If the downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows, and we see price right before the big bad scary news, right? So let me pull out the chart again. Or not the chart, let me pull this shit out, right? So we had the big bad scary news pop off on 8:30 on March 5th, right? So we just had a lower high get made, and y'all all in this chat said after a lower high comes a lower low. What is crazy about price making a lower low when the volume came in on the news event? What is crazy about that, y'all? Let me know in the chat again, because the internet swears up and down that these volume spikes that happen on news events is because of what direction Trump sneezed, you know, what type of toilet paper he uses, or because of mythical buyers and sellers. But we all agree that the market structure of a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows, and what comes after a lower high is a lower low. What is crazy about price making a lower low on the news day when the volume kicks in? Not a damn thing, right? Again, y'all, this is why the title lies exposing the secrets to the charts. When y'all, I promise, when y'all just simply focus on the market structure, you'll realize a lot of the shit these people talk about on the internet makes zero fucking sense, y'all. Right? Because how am I knowing to go for sales hours before the news pops off? And why am I going for sales after the news popped off if I don't have a crystal ball, I don't watch news events, and all I do is look at the charts? How did I know to go for sales, right? How did I know to go for sales? Because again, the internet teaches y'all to chase price. I'm teaching y'all to follow the flow of price. Again, do not go based off candlestick patterns. I don't care how cool the name sounds. Red does not mean sell, green does not mean buy. Uptrend means buy, downtrend means sell, right? Put a 1 in the chat, this is making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat, this is making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. So, just like the rules that the downtrend said, the only way the uptrend will come into play is if price does this. So I don't care how many green candlesticks we see, I don't care what the name is, If we did not break the rules of the downtrend, guess what? We're still in the downtrend, right? That's why when the volume picked up, what did price do? Push to the downside. And that's when these gurus will come online and say, oh, that's because the sellers magically took over, right? But if we're to use that logic, like we all agreed in the chat, if we scroll up, prior to that retracement in that green candlestick, we was already in a downtrend. So did the sellers just magically take over, or have the sellers been quote unquote taking over? You see what I'm saying? Again, do not chase price, but follow the flow of price. All right, y'all, put a 1 in the chat that's making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. Put a 1 in the chat that's making sense, put a 2 if I lost y'all. So let's pick up where we left off. Right? So Thursday and Friday price pushed to the downside. Again, is it crazy for us to make a lower low on Thursday and price continue to push on Friday? Not at all, right? That's pretty simple, right? Again, go with the flow of price. Go with the flow of price. All right. So now for reference, this is Monday, March 9th. All right. So looking at price right here, what are we going to be going for, y'all? Buys or sells? Let me know in the chat. What are we going for right here, y'all? Buys or sells? Buys or sells? What we got? Buys or sells? What we got, y'all?